Welcome to The Voiceover with your host, Dee Foster III, where we discuss relevant topics that affect the culture with bold, independent commentary. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and encouraged.
Welcome to the Voiceover Now podcast. I'm your host, Dee Foster III, CEO and president of Wake Up Global Networks. Guess what? It's time for another show. I need you to do me a favor. It won't cost you nothing. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the hype button. Let the algorithms know that you love content like this. Want to say shout out. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you and your family enjoyed each other. I sure did. Hope you are doing well. Shout out to April J., owner and CEO of this particular platform, which we appreciate, WPBMediaNetworks.com. Thank you so much for giving us a voice always. Listen, at the top of the show, I just want to remind you, the countdown is on for the Awakening Experience. It is not a church, but a community of diverse people coming together to foster spiritual growth and development so that we all can live in purpose, on purpose. Go to the website. Have you gotten the video yet? If you've not gotten the video yet, I want you to email us at thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com, thevoiceovertheglobe@gmail.com, and say, hey, where's my video? I ain't get my video. It's only a video, very short, so you know what to expect when we're going to begin, where you can find us, and etc. Don't forget to like this. I'm letting you get your likes together. Put a copy of this link into your contacts. Yeah, I said it right this time. Your contacts, so that your peoples can hear this, because we are on a journey. When church goes wrong, part number 9. And you know, if you were here last week, you know why I got so many parts, right? Yeah, you know why I got so many parts, because I'm going to let you go before you let me go. That's just my complex. Like, share, subscribe. Have you listened to the Voice of Hope Connection yet with V? If not, you're missing a chance to be encouraged, inspired, and to be uplifted every Sunday. Or you can catch the replay right here on WPBMediaNetworks.com. V has an inspiring word for you each and every Sunday. The live upload is at 7 a.m. Or you can catch it on Wake Up Global Media. Wake Up Global Media. Now, let's get back into some things. When church goes wrong. We've been talking about when the church I lead it a little wrong. Yeah, because the leadership always have to take responsibility. I told you on last week, and I want to say thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for your response, that I lead from a position of what not to do. I never had the greatest knowledge. I never knew like all of this stuff to do, but I can sure tell you, and I tell those who I mentor and lead, what won't work, but will work, and what did not work for me. So we were at a place when we left off last time where we talked about my aching since starting. We're about, I would say 4 years into Bread of Life, maybe. It's the dates, I can't remember. But when we go to Park Heights, right? Maybe 3 years, I don't know, somewhere 3 to 4 years when we moved to Park Heights from Banneker, from Baltimore National Pike. And remember, the ache in all this time was I could not do outreach. I must do outreach. Even with Wake Up Global Networks, having a network, coming teaching is not good enough for me. If we can't partner with the school, if we can't partner with the community, if we can't give away, if we can't bless, no need of me being involved. That's just my spiritual part of my spiritual DNA. So part of my ache when I was in Banneker and in Baltimore National Pike, and I explained, I like this. Last show, go look at, if you haven't seen the previous videos on this, go look at the other ones, because I'm not going to go back. Right? I don't have time for that, because I'm going to leave you before you leave me. So, so one of my aches was I couldn't do outreach. Outreach is the heartbeat of my ministry, regardless of how I can teach or preach or whatever. Outreach, touching those without. I got that DNA from my dad. Waylon, that's what he did. That's what grew Waylon. Not that he was just big dynamic preacher, but he knew how to touch people without. Key. That's key. People don't know how much, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? Bam. So remember, I told you when a member says there's Avalon Hardware. That's what it was. Avalon, all this stuff was coming back. Hardware was empty. They were supposed to make it a senior high rise, but the pastor who had the deal on the table, thankful, blessed us, he backed out of the deal. So the owner was stuck, right? So he wanted to rent it. See, there you go. So we were only renting a partial of it. We had it remodeled. Man, now I think, to be honest with you, like to share this, I think this is where our ministry was the greatest, when we were on Park Heights. Now, eventually moved into another building, but that's when things begin to turn. And I'll tell y'all why. All of this is important when I go to when church goes wrong, right? Plus, I'm just giving you a little history about me that probably many of you never known or never heard, and you're hearing it straight from me, no chaser. So this is when we are at the top of our game. Guest speakers are coming in. The church is growing. I'm on the bus line. I'm on the radio. People are coming from the radio. The money is coming in. Our influence is growing. We're connecting to the community. We're having outreaches. People are coming into the church. I mean, I'm now hiring staff now. I mean, we're doing 3-day meetings. International speakers are coming in on Park Heights, right? On Park Heights. We are in the zone. I had to say it. And probably the most successful days of Bread of Life was on Park Heights. That's it. Not downtown, but on Park Heights. Park Heights was our sweet spot. Now, the problem with it was with me, even though we were spiritually in our sweet spot, it was not located in a sweet spot. Dun, 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 dun. This is where church begins to go wrong. And my ambition begins to trump the mission. It's where we turn. So we're in the sweet spot now. If you know that area of Park Heights, Belvedere, Garrison, mid to late 90s, it began to shift. Now, it was never, Beverly Hills. But while we were there, it began to shift. Now, we had mad respect. We had men on the corner. We never had break-ins. Nobody ever, as bad as that neighborhood was, we never had, thank God, break-ins, pocketbook snatch. None of that ever happened. We had, by that time, we had temple guards. We had raised up an army that would stand on the corners. We just had mad respect in that neighborhood. God gave us grace for that neighborhood. But the neighborhood began to get worse and worse. And now you had to get out of your car. And remember, though I always did outreach, Bread of Life always had what we would call middle-class working people. We had good money. We had good, I told you in Banneker with 25 people, we were taking in sometime 2,000 a week, 1,500. Well, by this time, we're taking in 4,000, 5,000 a week with, what do we go up to at maybe 200 in Park Heights. It was hard getting there, but we got there, right? But for a lot of reasons, but anyway. But we're in our sweet spot. I'm doing outreach. I'm giving back to the community. We got the mayor coming. We got officials coming. But the neighborhood began to change. And now people who work hard for what they had to get out of their cars and walk over needles, crack pipes, and right? My thinking is, I don't want a church of people who will soon say, I don't want to go there. I don't want to. And we had a lot of back then night services, 3-night meetings, revivals, whatever you call it. And we still had no problem. But I'm thinking ahead of the people, right? I'm thinking ahead of the people. Man, we got to get out of here. We got to go. Now, was that God sending us? Or was it still my ambition to have a bigger church? So I can't remember all the scenario like this. But someone brought it to my attention that New Psalmist downtown at the time on Cathedral in Franklin was for sale. And if you know anything about New Psalmist when they were on Cathedral in Franklin, shout out to Bishop Walter Thomas. You know, they filled that church with 2 services, 2 capacity and a capacity on a Wednesday service. So I think the church sat, I don't know, with the balcony didn't sit that many, but I know they used to get 700-800 people, in it. And we were nowhere near that. But I believed that if we could broker the deal, then, and I could get out of disintegrating at that time Park Heights, because there's a difference between the time I came there and the 4 years that I came and stayed and left. I think we stayed there about 4 years, and the neighborhood kept going distant. Now we were still having success in ministry, growing, money, speakers, but it wasn't the location where you wanted middle class, in my mind, families to have to come and find a parking space and with their children, because again, I'm about growth. There's the mission to outreach. I'm about growth. So I hear this about this property downtown. I've been in New Psalmist, and I preached in New Psalmist when they were downtown on Cathedral, and never went in there, and it wasn't packed to capacity. Whether it's midweek revival, their midday service on Wednesday, Sunday morning, 8 and 11, packed to capacity. I had never been in New Psalmist, and it wasn't for anything packed, discipleship, packed to capacity, right? So I knew New Psalmist. My thinking was, because Bishop was building a church in Edmondson Village, if Bishop packed that building, which in my thinking was in a better neighborhood, share this, like this, then if I put in the work and we put in the evangelistic effort, I thought, then we will also pack the building. So the motive of moving to Cathedral in Franklin was not initially to pack the building. That just came along with it. It was to get our church in a neighborhood where family and middle class families would not mind attending, right? Pack the building. Pack the building. In the midst of it. That came along with it. Now, one thing I did not do. Here's where I made my first mistake in that transition. I did not have a conversation a one-on-one with Bishop Thomas about why they were moving, right? Now, I later gained some knowledge of some things. They were landlocked. They needed more uh, room to do ministry. I get that. But one of the things that I did not realize, and this is when ambition trumps the mission, or the ambition is the driving force above all things, so you skim some of the details. That's what I did on this move. All I know is I want to move. I want to move. I want to move. But there was an issue. See, one of the things about Bishop Thomas's Wednesday service, why it was packed, is because at that time, a lot of people from Social Security that was downtown, you know, the road, the highway to nowhere, went. Office downtown was a strong office space, right? So people, and it was a new phenomenon. Now everybody got midweek day services that nobody goes to, Holly. But then this was a new phenomenon. A 1 hour lunch, and they gave sandwiches away as you went out the door, and it grew. And the people came from downtown. And as a result, a lot of people joined New Psalmist as coming to that Wednesday service, right? What I did not know, share this, y'all. Come on, this is some good stuff. That's why always got to do your homework. You cannot let ambition cause you to skirt the details like it did me with this move. So what I did not know is that Social Security was about to close down. First thing. Second thing was downtown was going through a white renaissance. You remember when O'Malley was in, they did some district switching, redistricting. And downtown was going through some white renaissance. Downtown, for us, it worked for New Psalmist, had no or very little on-street parking. Downtown, downtown closed up early. And downtown had mostly, at that time, white Asians transitioning. So who was I going to do outreach to? Who, come on, like this, y'all, were we going to witness to? Because they sure wasn't coming to Bread of Life. Now, hindsight is 2020. But this is the point where the switch hits the fan. Right here. Right there. So we make the move. We are excited about the move. Here's the other piece. Every other place I had been up until Cathedral in Franklin was not a church building. It was a warehouse or some kind of shop that we remodeled to make a church. Most of the people that I pastored, especially the young people, they were not church people. Bread of Life was the first church most of them ever belonged to. So they weren't used to the church, the protocol. So we moved from warehouse to warehouse. to finally, in a cathedral-like setting, So the whole church goes not only through a physical transition, but an internal metamorphosis. There was a pulpit, there was a pipe organ there, there was pews. We had never sat in pews. You may not think this is important, but I'm telling you where church goes wrong, right? For us. For me. But I didn't consider. Now there is all of the stuff that goes with being in a church building. And Bread of Life was not built on a religious setting. Bread of Life was never, we wore jeans, we wore shorts in the summertime. We dressed like I dress now. So we were never a regalia church. We dressed nice when we needed to. But we were never a regalia church because that's not the kind of church the Spirit told me to start, right? But when church goes wrong, and let me tell you something. Sometimes, and nobody will tell you this, and this is the downfall of a lot of people, not only in ministry, not only in church, but in life. They get tired of not fitting in. Not fitting in can wear you out if you're not careful. And it'll make you do things that you should not or were not supposed to do. Now, I'm not saying this move was a wrong move, but the question was it a right move? So we moved. And guess what? I'm going to move. So you won't move first. Like this, share this. Next week, when church goes wrong, part 10. I'm going to probably spend the longest time on me to be transparent. That's what we need. But then there are some upsides. But all of my good days outweigh my bad days. I won't complain. God's been good to me. All right, like this, share this. Although sometime the clouds hung low, I could hardly see. All right, now I can laugh about it, y'all. Like this, share this, subscribe. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the awakening experience. Listen, we're getting back to that teaching that Bread of Life and D. Foster 3 was known for. Guess what? I'm always still teaching. I'm teaching right now. That's who I am. But you've been asking for it. We're going to give it to you. Thank you for all of you interested. Like, share, subscribe. If you didn't get your video, I want to hear from you. The Voice Over the Globe, one word, at gmail.com. The Voice Over the Globe at gmail.com. And I can say, where my video at? I ain't getting nothing. That's what I ain't getting nothing. So we can send you something. All right? Until next week, remember, you have a voice. Stay connected to it. Peace.
Thank you for being a part of The Voiceover. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected to our upcoming shows and guests. Instagram at The Voiceover Radio. Twitter at DPropheticI. That's the letter D, prophetic, EYE. If this show has enriched you in any way, please share The Voiceover among your circle. Until next time, keep allowing your voice to be heard.